Whenever I'm at the airport, I always have to let the security know that I have a pacemaker. That is because my pacemaker will be picked up on the metal detector, but it's not going to suddenly set alarms off, and that is the next myth that I hear. In fact, modern pacemakers are designed to be used safely with security systems. People often believe that when you have a pacemaker, you're going to be weak and sickly all of the time, but that simply isn't true. 20 days ago, I had a pacemaker surgery, and today I walked 5 miles on the walking pad whilst building a mobile app, and I'm walking 75 miles this November for the British Heart Foundation. And so far we've raised the incredible amount of £520. And I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody for their generosity, their kind words and their support. Another crazy misconception is that people think that when you have a pacemaker you should avoid wearing headphones, and also when you take a phone call, take it on the opposite side of where your pacemaker is implanted. So mine's on my right hand side. Yes, I know that's a bit odd. Usually you have it on the left, but that's a whole different story. 20 odd years ago, when I had my first pacemaker implanted, I was told that I needed to take phone calls on the opposite ear to where my pacemaker was. And I've just got into the habit of answering my phone on the left hand side. But pacemakers these days are built to work well with other electrical devices. But I tell you what the worst misconception is, something that everybody keeps getting wrong, and that is the fact that if the pacemaker fails, then the heart fails. Now, there's various different pacemakers and various different settings on those pacemakers. For me, my pacemaker prevents my heart from going down to the dangerously low end beats. But if the pacemaker was to stop, my heart is still going to beat. I certainly don't rely on the pacemaker 100% of the time. In fact, in my medical notes, it says that I'm actually using my pacemaker far less than I used to because my fitness has improved. Now, of course, that's not going to be the same for everybody, but that just goes to show that just because you've got a pacemaker doesn't mean that you have to stop being active. In fact, I'm more active now than I ever was. And yes, that does include going to karate. There's only 7 miles left and a few more days to go in this 75-mile walk for the British Heart Foundation. If you fancy sponsoring me, please go to peterfisher.life/sponsor. And just remember, if you have to have a pacemaker, then it's not the end of the world.